Hello students, welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. Today we are going to discuss about recently released report by United Nations on the Xinjiang, which is a northern western region of China. So in this particular video we are going to discuss about what are the main findings of this report, and as per this report, as it alleged that China has carried out human right violation of the Uyghur group or Uyghur ethnic groups that reside in this area. So how far is it true, and what has been the response of China in this particular regard? So first of all, if we try to understand the context or background of this particular topic, so first of all, as we know that the UN has released this particular report recently, and as a response to this, China has responded furiously to this particular report, which alleges human right abuses of Chinese government against Uyghurs. Basically, if we talk about, as per this report, these human right violation or abuses have occurred in the northeastern Xinjiang region of China, which are populated largely by Uyghur people who are Muslim ethnic minority. The report has been in the work for years and was released even though the Chinese government at all levels wanted to delay the release of this report and even wanted to block this report from coming out in the public. So let us first try to understand about the geography of the Xinjiang. So as we can see from this particular map, the Xinjiang province is kind of northwestern province of China, and topographically it is covered by mountains, forests and desert kind of landscape. Overall, this area is very vast in nature. However, despite this, as we know that this area is not suitable for the inhabitation of people, these are also sparsely populated region of China. On the border region, this Xinjiang province, as we can see, is bound by Russia in the north, Pakistan in the west, and several other Central Asian countries in the northwestern region. Let us try to understand now the history or brief history of Xinjiang region. So Xinjiang, since ancient time, was basically a city or a center that is lying on the Silk Road, which used to pass from China all the way up to Europe. And it is during this time this particular city was under the control of several Chinese emperors, including Han Empire. However, after 1949, when after the winning of civil war, People's Republic of China was formed under the leadership of Mao Zedong. It is during this time the complete control of the China or the Chinese Communist Party in the Xinjiang region was established. Not only that, even after 1949, the Xinjiang emerged as a major political hotspot or political center because it acted as a front line of Cold War rivalry that was going on between China and USSR. The reason there was because of divergence in the philosophy and ideologies of communism. The Soviet Union was following a different line of ideology, while the Mao Zedong's Communist Party of China was following different line of ideology, and that is why the Cold War was not only between USSR and USA, but a kind of Cold War has also brewed between China and USSR in the Far East. So why Xinjiang is so much important for China, and why China want to maintain a complete control or ironclad control over this particular region? So several importance is there. The first importance obviously is from the economic perspective. The Xinjiang is a very natural resources rich region, and the major natural resources that you can find in Xinjiang is oil resources, gas resources, and the most important where China has a dominance in the global market is the rare earth minerals, which are also found in huge quantity in the Xinjiang region, and that is obviously why China wanted to maintain a control to exploit the resources. The second reason why this particular Xinjiang province is important for China is because this is also the region which is one of the major center of China-Pakistan economic corridor. To remind you, China-Pakistan economic corridor is a corridor that has been built up from the Gwadar port of Pakistan in the Arabian Sea via the transportation network of roadways, railways and pipelines, and that goes through Pakistan occupied Kashmir, and that is why obviously India is against this project, and then all the way it goes up to the Xinjiang region. So this is the terminal point of CPEC, one of the major projects under the One Belt, One Road policy of China. From the strategic point also, this region is very significant because it acts as a strategic buffer, and it is also helpful for China to influence it, to increase its influence in the westward direction all the way up to Central Asian countries, Pakistan, and even to the occupied part of Kashmir, India as well. And not only that, even in the past, this region has been used by China as asserting its influence in the Moscow's backyard. Let us try to understand this. So as we have discussed the geography of this region, it is surrounded by the Central Asian countries in the west and Russia in the north. So by having a control over Xinjiang, China can basically tell Russia that we are just nearby your border, and basically it is the competition going on in the Central Asian countries where Russia still want to maintain its dominance, as these countries obviously were part of older Soviet Union. However, China recently has increased its presence in these Central Asian countries and have started investing in a very huge quantity, or starting investing in very huge amount. So Xinjiang can act as a assertiveness of Chinese influence near the Russian Empire. Now, who are Uyghurs? So Uyghurs, basically we try to understand, are Turkish Muslim who are closely related to the Kazakh and Kyrgyz group. If we try to understand the history of Uyghurs, before 1949, they used to have independent government in the Xinjiang province. But as we discussed, after 1949, the Chinese Communist Party took control of the Xinjiang, and the Uyghurs were racially discriminated between 1966 to 1976 under the Cultural Revolution, or during the period of Cultural Revolution in the China. And it is due to this kind of discrimination, the Uyghurs basically started to have a protest against the Chinese Communist Party since 1990s, and they wanted to have a separate state for themselves away from the influence of the communism. Now, why or what is the basis of accusation that UN has alleged regarding the human right violation of this group by the Chinese? So first it says that UN has found a vast network of fortified camps which has been constructed without legal due process, and also the Uyghur peoples are being put inside this camp without following any kind of process. However, China claims that this camp has been built up for the retraining purposes or de-radicalization purposes of the Uyghur Muslims. However, there is no such evidence that UN has found regarding that. Second problem is that under this camp, Chinese government is trying to force Uyghurs to renounce their religion as well as their culture. And people who are protesting against this, they are put under lengthy prison terms within an opaque system. That means no one will know that when a person will be released, on what charges this person has been put into jail. All these things have been kept very, very secretive in nature. The most important person who has been allegedly behind this particular kind of violence is Chen Guangbo, who is the member of Chinese Communist Party, and currently he is the leader that is controlling the Xinjiang. Not only that, even in the training camps, the Chinese Communist Party and their members as well as the Chinese police, they actually force the Uyghur people to praise Xi Jinping, the president of China, as well as also praise the Chinese Communist Party. And people who do not do this, they are basically treated in a very bad manner. Even violence, even the Chinese police and the Chinese Communist Party is resorting to violence against these Uyghur Muslims. Now, what are the human right violations that has been clearly recorded here? So first of all, the most potent human right violation has been recorded against the women members of the Uyghur community, where they are forced to go sterilization and abortion if they have more number of children. Second, there also has been instances where United States as well as the United Kingdom has categorically stated that the act of Chinese government is nothing short of genocide against the ethnic minority of Uyghurs. And not only that, even there has been instances where the members of the families have been separated away from their children, and also there is a large scale we can say effort by Chinese Communist Party to break the cultural traditions of the local Uyghur people. So these are the basic human right violation that has been recorded in the UN report. So what has been the China's response in this particular regard? So obviously China has denied targeting Uyghurs and others on the basis of religion and culture, and they have categorically stated that this UN report is nothing but a confection of lies that has been created by West to slander and malign the image of China on a global scale. Not only that, China also blamed that UN report and other Western countries have ignored the human right achievement that has been achieved under the Chinese Communist Party's reign in Xinjiang, and also it ignores the damage that has been caused by terrorism and extremism to the population of Xinjiang. And China claims that basically it is to control or decrease the instances of terrorism and extremism that China has now constructed these camps where the people are being retrained and de-radicalized. And basic official version of Chinese statement we try to understand is given by the Chinese mission in Geneva, where the ambassador has clearly said that based on the disinformation and lies fabricated by anti-China forces and out of presumption of guilt, the so-called assessment distort China's laws, wantonly smears and slanders China, and interferes in China's internal affairs. So that has been the overall response of China. Obviously, we can understand that China has been, as per UN report, involved in the human right violation, human right abuse in these areas. However, China do not want to accept this, obviously, because if it really is we can say accepted by Chinese government, then it will lead to maligning of image of China, and especially it will lead to disruption, or we can say decline or weakening of relation between China and other Muslim countries. So that is all about this particular issue. I hope you understood about the main salient features of UN report. That is all for today. Thank you very much.